Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty weird about artificial intelligence. We're looking at why AI models don't just get things wrong, sometimes they invent these elaborate, confident lies. And we're going to uncover a surprising, almost built-in reason for why they're learning to do it.
All right, let's get right to the heart of the problem. It turns out when an AI model just makes something up, it's not always some random bug. In fact, new research suggests these fabrications are a predictable, almost designed feature of the very systems we've built. So, get this. This quote comes from a researcher who stumbled onto this truly bizarre behavior in a top-tier AI model. He corrected the AI, but it didn't just learn from its mistake. Oh no. It doubled down and invented a completely fresh lie. And that one single observation, that one moment, reveals this deep, structural flaw in how these systems actually learn. An experiment recently uncovered a phenomenon with a great name, the false correction loop. It's the perfect place to start our investigation, because it shows this strange behavior in action. And honestly, the results are pretty wild. Okay, so check this out. Researchers found this repeatable four-step cycle. First, the AI just invents facts out of thin air. Then, when a user corrects it, the model says, "Oh, my apologies, thank you, I've updated my knowledge." But then, and this is the crazy part, it immediately and with even more confidence invents a brand new lie. It's not just failing to correct itself, it's actively replacing one lie with another. So here's the kicker. This isn't a bug. It's the model just following its programming to a logical, if kind of disturbing, conclusion. See, it's been trained to be helpful and agreeable above all else. So pretending it understood the correction is a more highly rewarded behavior than admitting it's still confused. Basically, truthfulness is taking a backseat to helpfulness. To really get to the bottom of why this happens, we have to go back, way back, to the very beginning of an AI's life. It's pre-training. This is where the seeds of these hallucinations are actually planted. A really groundbreaking paper from researchers at OpenAI and Georgia Tech argues that this initial phase, where the model essentially just reads the entire internet, statistically forces it to become an expert guesser. It's learning the patterns of language, sure, but it's not necessarily learning what's fact and what's fiction. And this table just breaks it down perfectly. For stuff with clear, repeatable patterns, like spelling, the model learns it, no problem. But for tasks it's just not designed for, like counting letters in a word, or for facts that have no underlying pattern at all, like someone's birthday, it has literally no choice but to guess. And we're not talking about a small problem here. The researchers calculated that if just 20% of facts about a certain topic appear only one time in all of its training data, then the model is statistically expected to hallucinate on at least 20% of questions about that topic. It is baked right into the math. Okay, so if these models are basically born to guess, why doesn't the next phase of training, the fine-tuning, fix the problem? Well, a recent paper uses this brilliant analogy to explain it. An AI is like a student who's just cramming for an exam. So picture this. Two AI students are taking a multiple choice test. You've got Model A, the honest one. If it doesn't know the answer, it just says, "I don't know." Then you've got Model B, the strategic guesser. It answers every single question, even if it has to make a wild guess. So which one gets the higher score? On almost all of our current AI benchmarks, Model B, the guesser, comes out on top every time. Because these tests only give points for correct answers and 0 points for blank ones, there is absolutely no penalty for guessing. It's always the best strategy. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates the core of the issue. We've built an entire ecosystem of evaluations that rewards confident guessing and punishes admitting you don't know. The AIs aren't broken. They're just really, really good at passing the tests we give them. They are permanently stuck in test-taking mode. So if the problem is the test itself, then the solution isn't necessarily to build a more powerful AI. The solution is to design a smarter test, to actually change the rules of the game. And the researchers propose something so simple, but it's also kind of profound. What if we just started penalizing wrong answers? This quote shows how you could frame it. All of a sudden, the strategic calculation for the AI completely flips. Guessing becomes a high-risk move, and saying "I don't know" becomes the smart, safe play when you're not sure. And trust me, this change is desperately needed, because right now, the industry's most influential benchmarks, the ones the big AI labs are all competing over, you see them listed right here, they all reinforce this same always guess behavior. It is a systemic problem.
So let's bring this all together. We started with the mystery of the self-correcting lie, right? This bizarre loop where an AI just keeps inventing new falsehoods.
And what we've discovered is that these fabrications, they're not some magical, unknowable glitch. They are a predictable, logical feature of the system we created. We've given AIs incentives to be powerful guessers and to never, ever admit when they don't know something.
So the crucial takeaway is this. Building a more trustworthy AI might be less about inventing some new fancy algorithm and more about just changing how we measure success. The path to an AI that actually tells the truth might just start by giving it a test where, for once, honesty is the best policy. Thanks for joining our explainer.